All right, imagine this. You're in the cockpit of a commercial airline, okay? And on the left seat is the captain. He's the senior ranking officer, stripes on the uniform, the leader. And in the right seat is the co-pilot. Now, here's the twist. You see, the co-pilot has flown this specific plane for 5,000 hours. The captain, well, he's new to this aircraft, less experience on this specific aircraft. Suddenly, an alarm goes off. The co-pilot knows exactly what to do, but the captain, the leader, makes a different call. It's a wrong call. So does the co-pilot speak up? Often they don't. They let the plane crash. The question why? Well, it's not because they're not smart. It's because of a glitch in the human brain called authority bias. Welcome to Think Sharper. I'm Alan Stafford, and with 30 years in marketing and as a certified neuroscience coach, I've seen the mechanics of persuasion from the inside. And my goal here isn't to tell you what to think, it's to show you how your thinking is being manipulated. Sometimes by others, and sometimes, like today, by your own biology. And today we're breaking down why we ignore our own expertise to follow a leader, so to speak. And I'm going to give you 3 tools to stop doing it. So that pilot scenario we talked about in the beginning, that's a real situation. It's a phenomenon aviation experts call a steep authority gradient. See, when the perceived power gap between the leader and the follower is too wide, critical thinking shuts down. But this doesn't just happen at 30,000 feet. It happens in boardrooms and voting booths and at the dinner table. Here's what's happening in your brain. It's an efficiency machine. It loves shortcuts, and for thousands of years, following the elder or the chief was a solid survival strategy. It saved you basically the energy of analyzing every single danger yourself. So when your brain sees a uniform, a fancy degree, or a confident leader, it sends a signal that says basically, relax, they know what they're doing, outsource the thinking to them. But the problem, well, in the modern world, rank does not always equal competence. I know how hard this is to overcome because I've fallen for this trap or into this trap myself. You see, years ago, I was working as a marketing communications director, and my boss, he was the VP of marketing. Big title, corner office, the works. Here's the thing though, he had no actual background in marketing. In fact, his background was only in music production. But I didn't know that at first, and even when his decisions started feeling, let's say, off, I told myself, he's the VP, he must know something I don't. I mean, there's probably some strategic reason I'm not seeing. I kept assuming, maybe there was this secret knowledge that came with the title, like maybe at the VP level or something. They hand you a playbook and the rest of us don't get it and don't really understand what's going on. Well, it turns out he was just making stuff up. Confident delivery, zero substance. Eventually, the company figured it out. He was fired and I was moved into his role temporarily. But here's what stuck with me. How long did I stay quiet because of a title? How many bad calls did I let silence because I outsourced my thinking to someone who happened to outrank me? See, that experience rewired how I approach authority forever. So the question is, how do we fix this? How do we respect leadership without turning off our own brains? Well, here are 3 strategies I now use. Strategy 1, separate the claim from the claimant. See, when a leader or expert, so to speak, says something, imagine that same sentence coming from a stranger on a bus or maybe a junior employee. Does it still make sense? If the idea falls apart without the fancy suit or the title behind it, it's a bad idea. Strip away the rank and look at the logic. Strategy 2, Steelman, don't Strawman. See, if you disagree with a leader, don't just attack them. Instead, try to build the strongest possible version of their argument in your mind. If you can't find a logical reason for their decision, you need to speak up. But if you do speak up, then we move on to strategy 3. Use curious questioning. This is basically the social hack. See, you don't have to yell, "You're wrong!" That triggers a fight, basically. Instead, ask clarifying questions. Say, I want to make sure I understand the goal here. How does this plan account for X, whatever X is? Or you could say something like, help me understand the data behind this. See, this type of questioning forces the authority figure to explain their logic. If they're right, you learn something. If they're wrong, they often realize it themselves while basically trying to answer you. The world needs leaders, but more than that, it needs sharp followers who aren't afraid to be a check and balance. Real respect isn't blind obedience, okay? Real respect is helping your leaders and your team get to the right answer, even if it's uncomfortable. So here's my question for you. Think about your work or your personal life. Is there an area where you've been maybe outsourcing your thinking to an expert or a boss just because it's easier? Just because they have the title? Drop your story in the comments. I read everyone and respond. And I'd love to hear basically what your experience is. And I want to thank you for watching. And remember, folks, think sharper.